Good morning, everybody. Today we are going up the tallest mountain in Wales. I thought I would just show you guys. So I'm on a road right now that is both for pedestrians and for cars, and this is how wide it is. I don't know if you can see relative to me there. To be honest, back home, if this was a pedestrian walking path, I would find it a little tight. You know, this is probably a road from before there were cars, and somehow cars have to go down here in both directions. Yeah, you see here's a spot where the cars can kind of pass each other. It even says passing place. So originally I thought maybe I would walk up Snowdon Peak, but then I climbed up a different peak. I talked to someone who had walked up Snowdon and he said it wasn't that different from the one that I did, just a little bit longer. I believe Snowdon is right there, which the conditions are not looking very good for me to be up there and have a nice view. But I'm not done my story. So I was thinking I was gonna walk up and down, but there's a train, and I was like, I feel like I would rather just take the train. But then I thought, well, I'll take the train up, but then you can take the train up and walk down. I thought, oh, that could be nice, because then I could still get that experience of doing the trail, but I'll probably just do it in a much easier way. To be honest, in these conditions, I probably wouldn't have done that anyway. But yesterday the decision was kind of made for me because I fell. Like all the hiking that I've done, all the sketchy paths, I don't think I've ever fallen on a hike, and especially by myself. You know, I try and be really, really safe. I don't take risks, never fallen. And then yesterday I was walking on the road, just a paved normal surface. This is kind of steep down. This was just flat, just a flat road, and I fell. I absolutely ate shit. I have like giant scrapes down my leg, and my knee kind of twisted, and my back felt weird, and I think I maybe also twisted my ankle a little bit. But then I woke up this morning and I felt totally fine, so I think I'm all good. Whoa. It's not raining that hard, it's just coming down from the trees. So basically all of that talking was just to say I'm gonna take the train. I'm walking. It was about the same amount of time to walk as to take the bus. It's about an hour and a half to get into town, so I'm gonna walk an hour and a half to the town where you get the train from. I'm walking down early so I can look around a little bit because I haven't really been there yet. And then this afternoon I'm gonna take the train up. Apparently the weather's supposed to get a little bit better this afternoon, so fingers crossed that I might get a little bit of a view at the top. Oh God. But even if I don't see anything, I'm sure it's still going to be a really nice time. And I'm kind of just excited to sit for a little bit. I think that'll be nice. So yeah, let's walk into town. I was just thinking about myself editing this, and I was like, I don't think I explained where I am enough, and I don't want to go get screenshots from maps to show the route I'm walking. So hopefully that makes sense. This is where I started, and I'm walking kind of around the outside of the lake to get down here. I do think technically there was a way to get more up here straight down that way, but it's basically a giant cliff, and that's where the quarry is, and this is a new direction to walk, so I'm seeing new things. And it's a downhill walk, and I can take the bus back up, so pretty pleased about that. because I missed my turn, but apparently this is where we're going. Yo, that's so cool. This isn't the right way, but I kind of just want to go through here. Cool. I just had like a funny, morbid thought that I wanted to share with you here. I was thinking about like being a woman traveling on my own, and I think I'm also thinking about it because I just read a thriller book that involved having to move a body. But the thought occurred to me, I was like, yo, if someone murdered me, I'm so heavy that just the odds of a serial killer physically being able to move my corpse probably isn't even that high. So I think I'm good, is what I'm saying. It's funny. Alright guys, it's time to talk about the train ride, and not everything I'm going to say here is going to be super positive. It started off a little rough just because there was a wind warning on the day that I was planning to go. If it's too windy, then the train can't safely make it all the way up to the summit, so we were offered the choice of either rescheduling our tickets for any other day, or we could kind of take our chances, get on the train knowing that they might not be able to make it all the way up to the top, and that would mean that we wouldn't be able to get off and we would just have to like basically turn around and come back down. And if that happened, then we couldn't reschedule. We were just kind of out of luck. Now, I think it's fair to say that policy is not great. That's kind of bullshit. I think they should just offer that if the train has to turn around at the top, then you still get the option to reschedule. That's what would make sense to me. Doesn't feel really fair for the railway to expect the guests to be the ones who are gambling on whether or not it's going to be worth it when they're the ones offering the service. But I do have to say, all the staff are really nice. I used to work that job as a ticket person at a really big tourist attraction, and on days where you have to tell everybody bad news, especially when it's bullshit bad news, it's just awful. Anyway, I decided to just take my chances and go. It ended up being fine because we did go all the way up to the summit. Whether or not that was worth it, you can see later. We lined up and got on the train, and this is where the biggest problem with the experience starts. You're assigned a carriage, and each one has 2 benches that are facing each other that can sit 4 people on each side. This means that 4 people can be next to the window on both sides, and 4 people are in the middle. On the way up, I ended up in a middle seat, and being in the middle on this train is awful. The windows on the train already aren't that big, and you obviously can't get up or move around.
All times, so please remain seated, as I just said. Remaining seated means not to stand up. Okay, everyone. Now, if we arrive at the summit...
It was an easy crowd on this train. And so it's already pretty hard to see just as it is. But then for most of the hour ride up to the summit, people kept blocking the windows by trying to take pictures. And it was so annoying. And listen, I get the irony of me complaining about this when I'm making a YouTube video. Obviously, I wanted to get nice videos and pictures too. I was just frustrated because it felt like people were doing that for the whole ride, and all while we're all crammed into this tiny little space with a bunch of strangers, and it was just super, super uncomfortable. Then our train did make it to the summit, but it didn't really matter in the end because there wasn't a view anyway. You get off at the train station, which has a cafe and a gift shop up at the top, and then if you want, you can leave and walk to the summit, like the very top from there. They advised us not to walk up since there was wind warnings and you obviously couldn't see, but I decided to go anyway, of course. This was great, and it made me extra glad that I didn't decide to do the hike that day because I really love a view and I would have been so disappointed. I was pretty pleased to have done it that way. This was definitely one of those moments where I was just like feeling alive, you know, and what's life really about? Then I still had some time, so I went and grabbed a hot chocolate and a sandwich from the cafe. And then it was time to get back on the train. And I was kind of expecting that somebody was going to offer a window seat. Like, that just seemed to make sense to me if there's going to be 4 people in the middle and there's 4 window seats. But nobody offered, and then I had to ask somebody, and, you know, I'm too Canadian for that. Many a sorry was had. Okay. But in general, people were way less excited about taking pictures on the way back down, so I had a little hot chocolate, I was in my seat, and I finally got to have some good views. Once we made it back to the bottom, me and my hot chocolate got off the train, and I stopped in the gift shop to get this really cute little sheep card that has actual sheep's wool on it. And I also got a fridge magnet. That's what I get when I go on all of my trips. I think overall for the train, I would say I wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it, and I don't know if I would do it again. Although if you are in a group of 2 or 4, or for people with limited mobility. But I think if you're just looking for something where you can see really beautiful views, there were so many spots that I went that were like free, where you could just walk around, and I feel like that was kind of a better experience. But the day was not over yet. We know for this trip, my goal had been to see some beautiful landscapes and maybe do some art outside, but I hadn't really had a chance while at the top of this mountain. Luckily, the train station was very close to a spot that I had noticed earlier on this trip.
That's kind of it. I want to climb a mountain and I want to do paintings. Ooh, there's a little like castle or something down there.
we made it up to the summit. I'm glad I didn't plan to do like a drawing or a painting up there, because today I think the conditions just were not good, and it seems like tomorrow was going to be even worse. It really looks like there should be a rainbow, but I haven't been able to spot one anywhere. But we did find that little castle along the way, and I'm really excited to do a drawing of that, maybe a painting. I feel like that was really fun, and I feel like it kind of makes it more special when I didn't even realize I was going to be able to go there. My battery's about to die, but I'm going to walk back and just take it easy for the rest of the night.